And yeah, as usual, I'll post the recording on the website for everybody to watch afterwards. Okay, so it's very open, this. You can ask whatever questions you want. You can explore whatever you want. If you want certain beings to come through, you can ask for certain beings to come through. You can really do whatever you want with this. So,
Neil, how long we have? How many minutes we have to part each one?
okay, I think what we'll do is we'll keep it to we'll aim for about 15 minutes each person. Okay, and that way it's going to roll, because I want it to roll for around about an hour. You know, maybe an hour and a half at the very most. So we'll do about 15 minutes each one. Okay.
So each one, when it starts to talk, notice the time.
Yeah, just keep an eye on the time. Yeah, it doesn't have to be super strict, but yeah, just keep an eye on the time. Because sometimes when you do a reading, it starts like, you know, there's a lot of information in it. It does roll over, but sometimes that has to happen. And other times it's, you know, it doesn't. The Atlantis theme runs for the whole month. I'm not going to channel any Atlantean. Well, I'm not planning on channeling any Atlantean beings just now. But if you do want me to channel information on Atlantis, I can do that as well. Because that's the theme this month, and there's been Atlantean beings that are connecting with me. I can bring through Atlantean beings. If you want me to channel information on Atlantis as well, I can do that also. But there's not going to be an introduction this time, like by any Atlantean beings. They're not going to come through and like give a talk at the beginning or anything like that. This is just going to be a very standard Q&A. Okay. Right. It'll take me about maybe 5 minutes maximum to get into the channel state. So, and then we'll start taking readings. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm ready to begin. There is a lot of Atlantean beings. I could feel them as I was starting to get into the state. There's a lot of Atlantean beings around, so if you do want any readings from them there, just to know that they're there. Okay, I'll start with you, Claire, okay? If there's any questions you've got, Claire, you can unmute yourself. And
no. If there is Atlantean beings around, then maybe like something from my past lifetime there that relates to here.
Yeah, I can feel that something there.
Something like that.
Right, okay. Okay, you've had several past lives on Atlantis. I can feel like there's quite a lot you've had. It feels like four very prominent lifetimes you've had there, okay? they're saying that there was other incarnations there, but the other incarnations, it was like it's like minor incarnations. It's like it was you were some type of different species to a human, and they're not as relevant, those ones, to your lifetime just now. But there's 4 that you had there that are very relevant to you just now. Okay, they're very different. Each one is very, very different. Okay. There's one pair that overlaps slightly, okay? The times that they both happened, there's an overlap with them, but you didn't, how can I put this? The lives that you lived them, they were very, very, 2 very separate lives. There was no crossover in the lives or what you were. Like, it's like you were almost in 2 different realities, okay? By that, I mean, like, we all experience different realities because we have our own little bubbles that we live in, you know, our day-to-day bubbles. And so we live in different realities. And that's what it was like for you. You may have been in the same locations or close or relatively close by as far as the world locations go, but there wasn't a big overlap there with the experiences you were having and the type of reality that you were experiencing. So they were very separate, those 2. The other ones, there was, okay, I'll get to that one later. Wait a minute. Those 2, there is something about those 2. There's something that they are bridged in some way, those 2, but not bridged in the way that in that reality, there's some sort of experiential bridge with those 2, okay? And so it's like those 2 are sort of, it's like twins. You know, that's what they 2 are like. They've got a connection, but they're living separate lives, okay? That's what those 2 are like. There's some type of connection that they have. Okay, they're saying that it's very similar to the way that twins act, like the twins have experiences on Earth, right? We know that, like, say one twin breaks his arm, the other one will feel that their arm getting sore, even though they don't know the other twins broke their arm, and emotionality, they'll affect each other as well. It was very much like that with those 2 lives. There was an energetic influence that the 2 lives had on each other, and you were completely unaware of it at the time. They're saying that you had to be unaware of it at the time for the experiences to be had the way that that you had chosen for them to be had. What's interesting is they're saying that one was a female incarnation and the other one was a male incarnation. Okay, they've gave me it now. So what happened, right, was that you incarnated, and in those 2 lives, you had very similar experiences in those 2 lives, but the 2 lives were experienced. One was experienced as a male and one was experienced as a female, to feel that duality of the male and female and the male and female experience. Okay, that's why the 2 of them are bridged together, because what you wanted to learn overall with those 2 lifetimes was the role, the influence or the experience, how having an experience as a male and how having an experience, the same type of experience as a female, how that differs, how the sex that you are it changes that. That's what you wanted to learn overall in those 2 lifetimes. Okay, they're going to go into detail now about what you actually learned in those, the themes were in that lifetime. Okay, the male ended up going into more of a warrior type role in that lifetime. And this is when I feel this in Atlantis. These were the 2 earlier ones that you had in Atlantis over the time span. So these were sort of earlier on in the 30,000 years. It wasn't during the time when everything started going bad. That was all towards the very end of it. This is more in the time of when it was a very enlightened state. Okay. Now the male took on more of a warrior type role. Okay. And the female, she did the opposite, where she was, how can I put this? She used the way that she handled the certain situations that she was put in, was she didn't go against it in a confrontational way, or like in a warrior way. She went about it in a more diplomatic way, okay, and a more compassionate way. Now, when I say he was a warrior, it wasn't that, it's not so much. Well, let me tap in a bit more so I can get this just a bit clearer. It wasn't so much that he was a warrior, like fighting actual wars. It was more like he would put himself up against, how can I put this? When I felt it there, it was more like he would put himself into situations or like trials. It was more like, how can I explain this? It was more like he would put himself through like somebody that would climb a mountain, that would rock climb up a mountain, and they would do this for the challenge of it, the absolute challenge, and for what they would get out of that as the challenge. That you have to have a warrior mentality to do that. And so he would put himself through a lot of experiences like that, where he would challenge himself physically, okay, and mentally, where he would have to like really fight to be able to overcome these challenges that he was putting himself through. Now, the female, she didn't do that so much. She did more of a, how can I put this? One moment. She was more compassionate, and what she did was more about helping others, okay? And she found that through helping others and being compassionate to others, that she found her drive in life that way, okay? And they're saying that this is a big part of what the exploration, one of the main themes was about, was to finding what your center was, okay? And then finding that center, finding your drive from that center. Where's your real drive in life from that center? Okay, so that's what they both of them wanted to do. They wanted to explore what that was, and they both did it, but it was in very different ways. Because even though what she was doing, it may seem like she was helping a lot of others and things like that, but it was more of what she was doing. It was more of a exploration of what she could, her abilities, her capabilities, okay, as a compassionate female, okay, because this is the main role of the females, to be as compassion and caring, okay. This is the inbuilt theme that females have. And she found that center in herself, and she found that that's where her drive was. Okay, so explain that. And the male, he found what his was, and that is a lot of what males are. A lot of them like challenge, and they like to drive through that challenge and to overcome the challenges. Okay, like physical challenges. Males are far more physical, and he found that was his drive. And this is part of what that theme was about. It was about tuning into those archetypal energies that males have, that each sex has, tuning right into the center of what is the drive of the male and what is the drive of the female, and then moving in that direction. Both of you moving like that was your real drive in life, and that's what all your focus was put into, and that's what your drive was. So it was a lot. It was to do with the male and the female, getting right to the core of what is the passion, the archetypal passion of, or drive of male, and what is the archetypal drive of a female. That's what that pair of lifetimes were. And they didn't happen exactly at the same time. It was like there was an overlap, like one, there was an overlap like this, like one would continue and finish, and the other one sort of continued, part the way through that other life and then finished on its own. So that's the ones that they're bringing up for you, Claire. The other two, I don't know what they are because I'm not going into them just now. All I felt was, when I first started tuning into this, that you were there right at the end during the catastrophe, and there's some stuff there, like there's pain there. It wasn't, you know, there's a lot of pain in that lifetime. So it might be
Yeah, I
something that
mean, we've uncovered that one from like many years ago. Remember?
oh, well, I didn't, I completely forgot.
Yeah.
Right, that's why they're not bringing it up then. There you go.
Yeah.
Right.
So how does that relate to now, though?
How does what relate to now? The one that I've talked, the pair that I spoke about.
Yeah, is it just like just finding the drive? It's like it's just the theme of like finding drive.
Okay, just a moment. Yeah, that's right. It's finding your drive. It's not so much your drive, because that's not the way you look for it. They're saying it's finding your center. That's what it's about. Because when you find your center and you find who you really are at the center, then your drive naturally comes out of that. So you don't try and find it's like imagine that's your center, your sphere. There's a sphere inside you, that's your center, and there's an arrow coming straight out, or like a line, a big point, a big arrow. You don't try and find what the arrow is. You try and go to the core of it, because when you get into the core of it, then that'll naturally happen. So it's tuning in. They're saying it's tuning into that your center, and because when you start feeling your center and you start understanding what that is and feeling it, you start becoming that. You start embodying it. The rest of your vibration all shifts towards it, and then you come into alignment, and then and it just naturally happens. You naturally go in a certain way. And that's what a big party was about. Yeah, you're right. You're on the right track with it. So
yeah, that's what I was meaning, because the energy feels like it comes from here, and then it just you just kind of like flow, and you just in that flow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. It's exactly that. The whole time I was channeling this, when I was talking about the drive, I kept on seeing it like the image, just like, you know, a straight line with an arrow, and it was coming straight out of them, and that's the way they were going in life.
Yeah, I guess it's just that it's following that heart energy, isn't it? And then.
Okay, one moment.
Yeah.
They're saying it's balance. It's finding your balance point. It's not so much the heart center. It's the balance point. That's what you want to find. Okay. Your balance point, your center point, because you think it like they're showing it now, like if you get a plank of wood and you put it on like on a cylinder, you know, it's that balance point right in the middle. Once you get the balance, once you feel where the balance is, you start tuning in, and you'll get it. It's right there in the middle, and that's the point you want to be in, right in the center. Okay, so it's finding it's finding where. And this is what we're doing in our life. We are having a lot of experiences, so we can find what it is that we like and we don't like. And you're starting to come into a point until you get right into the center, and then that's you. You've found out who you really are. Okay, so they're saying that this is a big thing with you. It's a lot of what you do with your exploration, because you like exploring a lot of things, and that's what you're doing. You're trying a lot of things, and it's starting to narrow. And I think you're already starting to see that in your life. Things are starting to narrow recently, and you're starting to see that's where I want to go, and it's these things that are the things that I really want to do, and that's you. You're homing in on it. Okay, they're saying that this isn't just for you. This is for a lot of people, because this is what 2021 is about. 2020 was about the reshuffle and shifting everything up and allowing people to, like, you know, that it was all getting shaken up. And this year it's about coming in and starting to hone into what it is that we want and what it is that we really like, and that's it right there in the center. Okay, so they're saying that you're doing everything right just now. There's nothing else that you really need to do. It's just them making you aware of that. And now that they've made you aware of those lifetimes, it'll enhance that more. It'll help you with that drive more, because now you've connected to them where you learned that lesson. Okay, and now there's that bridge of energy, and you're getting all the information and all the knowledge is coming through, and it's enhanced even more. So now, and they're saying this is all happening synchronistically at the right time, because now that you're already starting to hone in, that's coming in as well, and you've got that energy going into it, and now you'll be able to get like, now it's going to go real quick, and you've got it right there. You know, it's no longer, it's not going to be so like, oh yeah, this is the stuff I want to do, and there's still some stuff. It's going to be like, boom, that's it right there. That is what I want to do, and that is where I'm going. There's a lot else to do with the drive. You're already getting the understanding of what it is, but it's the drive and the point, the real focus. Like, that's it. So that's what this is all about. That's what the lifetimes are about. Okay, we'll move on to somebody else now. So
Yeah.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, so next I'll just take people as they are at the as I can see them at the top of the screen. So next I'll go to Trina. I wait just before I go into you, Trina. Let me just pin my. That's okay. Okay, Trina, right, you can go next. So you have to unmute yourself, Trina.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So can I ask anything, or is it
Yes.
specifically?
No, you can ask anything you want.
Okay. So after I had this wonderful healing from Julie last night to get rid of that block, that energetic block,
Yep.
I was hoping I would be able to connect with the guide who wasn't stepping forward last time we spoke.
Okay.
And I tried to, and I went into my heart and I just asked if we could talk. And I don't know if it was my imagination. I have a lot of doubt, but I tried it 3 times, and twice at once my lips tingled, and twice my heart area grew really warm.
Right.
Was that just my imagination, or was that something?
Okay, I can start answering that for you right now without channeling, right? But for sure, if you're getting sensations like that, this is what happens in the beginning. You start doubting yourself, and it's a big part of learning to channel. That's one of the biggest things, is learning to start trusting yourself. If you're getting sensations like that, it's usually 9 times out of 10 it's you opening up, it's parts of you opening up. And if they can't, okay, they're starting to give it now. If they can't get the communication coming through, what they're going to do is they're going to start opening it, because you might not be right. Anyway, let me put it like this: if you can't hear them, or if you can't get the communication coming through, what they're going to start doing is they're going to start working on you and opening you up, and that's what they've been doing with you. They've been telling me. Right, let me just a sec, and I'll go in a wee bit deeper, and I'll see what else they have to say. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, with you, there's going to be a lot more of this. That's what a lot of the focus is going to be on with you. It's not going to be so much with the communication. It's going to be with opening you up, because that's what you need the most just now. Okay, so you're going to start feeling a lot more sensations like this. You might start getting tingling in other places in your body. You might start feeling it a lot more, where you're feeling energy coming in quite, I don't want to say intensely, but quite fully. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you're feeling anything like that, Trina, just allow yourself to relax and allow it to happen, okay? Because they want to reassure you that there's nothing bad that's going to happen from that, okay? It's just natural. It's just your natural system opening up, because as we go through our lives, because our societies aren't spiritual, if you want to call it that, you know what I mean? They're not very open to spirituality and open to all this stuff. We're not brought up in a lot of the ways that a lot of our systems are all closed down. And so when we first start getting into spirituality, a lot of it is about opening up, and that's what they're wanting to start doing with you, because you're wanting to get communication. The first stage to that is to get your system open, so that you can start receiving that information and start receiving that communication. Now,
I've had what I call energy in my hands, and I always get tingles on my shoulder blades. Yeah,
that's okay.
So
okay, just a second. I'll see what the tingling on your actual shoulders is. They're saying it's just energy flows is what you're feeling. Just a second. Okay, what I just saw, it's like one of your guides is standing at the back of you, and they've got their hands on your shoulders, and they're putting energy into you, and that's why you're feeling the energy on your shoulders. That's why you're feeling there a lot. Okay, one other thing as well, if you're feeling energy coming into you and you're feeling like it's too much, if it ever gets like it's too much, you can always tell them, like, look, this is too much. Can you step it back a bit? Or if it's too intense, you can tell them, look, can you buffer it a bit so that it's not quite as intense for me? You know, I'm still receiving it, but it's just not felt as intensely. So
give me more.
Yeah, and if you want more, you can ask for more as well. If you want it to open you up more, ask for more of it. You know, you can do that also. they're saying that a big lesson for you here is to recognize that you're the one that's actually in charge here. It's not them. They're assisting you, but you can regulate that however you want it to be. Okay.
Okay.
They're saying don't give the guides are saying this. Don't give your power away to them. Okay. The power's
Okay.
yours. Okay.
Okay. I'm a divine being.
They're saying there is a lot of there is a lot that's coming to you. There is going to be a lot of communication, but be patient with it because they have to do all this. They have to do this energy work with you first. Okay. So they're saying that energy work for you, receiving energy work from others is very beneficial for you as well. Okay. That's like, it's very beneficial for you at this stage just now. So eating cleanly is very beneficial for you also, and making sure you're drinking plenty of fluids. Okay, making sure you're hydrated, because I feel like you're getting dehydrated at times. Okay.
I'm drinking. I go through about 4 liters of water a day.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's good then.
And I recently had the compulsion to start eating fresh organic food. So
oh, that's good. Yeah, you're on the right track with all that then. Let's see. I'm going a little bit deeper and we'll see what they say. They're saying just to reinforce what I've been saying already about the energy, and just to continue with the energy work, because that's where you're going to benefit the most. Okay. There's no much more that we're saying there. If there's any specific questions you've got, you can ask as well. It's fine.
Oh my goodness. Well, I have to open up first. Well, what is my next step to opening up? Does it happen without me being a part of it, or can I take an active role in it?
Okay, that's a good question. Okay, just a moment. Oh, they're saying you can always take an active role in it. It is going to happen whether you, how much, they're saying that, oh, okay, they're saying that you're already taking an active role, but they understand what you mean. Okay. Now, just you come into this community as part of that, okay? Now you've changed your diet as well. That's part of that as well. And you can see that your lifestyle, you're making lifestyle changes already.
Yeah.
So you're actually playing a role in that, but they understand what you mean, okay? And you can do that if you want to. If you want to start sitting down and allowing the energy work to take place, you can do that, okay?
Yes, I want to do that.
Meditation would be the best way, they're saying, for you to do that. And okay, so they're saying that the role that you can play in this is to work on meditating, and work on just meditating by clearing your mind. It's not so much doing an energy clearing meditation, but meditation for keeping your mind clear. Okay, so focusing on your breathing or focusing on something else, you know.
With you.
They're saying this is going to help with your role in it, because they're doing the energy work for you. Okay, they're the ones that are doing that, and that's going to happen for you. How can I put it? It's not so much unwillingly, but without any effort from you, that's going to take place. Okay, but they can't. They can't make your mind clearer. Okay, they can't do that. It will affect your mind in some ways when they do the energy clearing. It will have a slight effect. But what you can do from your side, they're saying, is you can you can work on clearing your mind and keeping your thoughts, like by doing meditation, you're going to quieten your thoughts more, and that's going to allow for the communication to be much clearer for you. You're going to be able to hear the communication much clearer, and you're going to be able to focus in on it much clearer. So that's the role you do, and the role they do is they're clearing your energetic system so that the information can come in.
That's so great. That's so great. Yeah, Thank you so very much.
You're welcome. Okay, right.
So I have a question, if I could.
Yeah, that's fine.
Hi, I'm Katie. Sorry I'm late.
No, it's okay.
Thank you. First of all, when I've channeled twice, and I can only seem to do it when I first wake up and I'm in that very, very sleepy state.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to get myself back into that like when I'm awake.
Okay.
And so my channeling only lasts for like 10 minutes at a time,
Right.
like while I try and stay in that kind of state. And
Okay.
also, does anybody else do the looping? Because it comes too fast and you have to like
Okay.
point arrows to your like where it's connecting and like when you're channeling.
When you say it comes too fast, what do you mean it's coming too fast? The information's coming too fast, or the energy's coming in too
Right.
fast?
Yes.
The information.
Yes.
Okay. Now I'll talk about this myself because I don't need to channel to get this, to give you this, some of this understanding, because a lot of this is what I'll be covering when I'm doing the Learn to Channel workshop, but I'll answer some of this just now. So one thing I'd strongly advise you to do, if the information's coming too fast, you need to ask them to slow it down for you. You have to tell them like, look, that's way too fast and I can't understand it. Can you please slow it down? And they'll do that. It'll slow down right away when you ask them to do that. If there's a being that comes to you and the being talks really fast, there's some beings that talk super, super fast. If they're talking too fast and you ask them to slow it down and they can't slow it down, it's just the way that they talk or the way that their information's coming out. If it's happening that way, ask your main guide and tell that being, look, I'm going to have my main guide give me the information and you give the information to my main guide, because it's too fast for me to understand. As my mind, sometimes it's so fast that your mind can't actually process what the information is, because there's the amount of time it takes for your mind to process the words. They are way ahead of that. They're 4 words down the sentence. So I know what it's like, and that's the way to do it. You ask the guide, your main guide, to be an in-between, and they talk to the main guide, and the main guide talks to you. Or you just tell the being directly, look, slow it down for me.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's the way to do that. Now, what I'll channel this part. I was going to give you my answer, but I'll channel this part for you. The question you asked about staying and being able to channel for longer, okay? Just a moment. Excuse me. Okay, now they're saying that the reason that you're channeling when you're first waking up is because right now, when you're in the astral state, when you're sleeping and you're going into the astral, there's actually a lot of learning that you're doing there on how to channel. And then what's happening is, because that's all freshly there, okay, when you're first starting to waking up, it's going straight in, you're going straight into that and straight into that channeling state, okay. Now that's one of the reasons, okay. Now there's going to come a stage where you're going to be able to take that out of the astral state, okay, and into the waking state. That is going to happen, but it's just taking time because there's still a lot of learning that you're going through in the astral just now. Now,
okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I understand what that's like. I get this sometimes as well when I'm in that in between stage. I get information coming, I get beings coming telling me things, and it's very, very clear when I get communication when it's like that. And it's because you're in that in between, you're not awake, you're not asleep, and you're in that sort of in between world where you can get, where you've got your foot in both doors. So it's very easy to channel, because that's what you're doing when you're channeling. You're going from this reality to, you're connecting with other realities, and beings that are in other vibrations and bringing it to this vibration.
Thank you so much. That's so helpful, especially you're talking about, your 4 lines down. Yes, I had to go back both times and read, and I had no idea really what I wrote. Like,
okay, so you're writing it out when you're doing it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Just ask them to do that. One thing I find, okay, when I'm writing, when I channel and I'm typing it out, is
there was a different way.
Well, with the way I'm channeling just now, it's the same thing. It's just exactly the same, isn't it? So when I'm doing it, when I'm writing out, okay, it gets called what's the name?
Automatic writing.
Automatic writing. Now, I don't do it where it's like my hand takes over and I write. I don't do it that way. To me, the information flows to me, and similar to what I'm doing now, and I type it out, and I get into a real flow state when I'm doing that, and I get into a bit of a trance state. Now, one thing that I'd advise you to do, if you're writing this out with a pen or with a pencil, I'd advise you to try switching over to the computer, okay? I don't know if you can touch type already, but there's a program on the computer. If you can't, can you touch type?
Yeah. I certainly can.
You
And
can't.
this is brilliant. Yes, I don't. My hand doesn't automatically move either. It's definitely information coming in. I don't
Okay.
know how you do it and not write it down, but
Okay, so when you're doing it, you're writing it with a pencil or a pen, right?
Yeah, I will, but I will switch to a computer because that's a genius idea. Thank you.
Because when you, even me, right, when I'm doing it, even the way the information's coming to me, it's not coming too fast for my mind to take, right? But it's coming too fast for my hand to write it out. And I end up scribbling it, and I'm like, whoa, man. And I'm starting to forget the stuff that I'm getting, right? But you see, if I do it on the computer, I could type so fast on the computer compared to my hands, I can totally keep up with it. And I'm just like, just getting into this flow.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, for anybody else that's listening to this, if you're wanting to do this, okay, and you want to start switching to computer to do it, it's important that you learn to touch type first, because if you can't touch type, if you're only using like your index fingers, you're never going to keep up with it. You have to learn to touch type. And I'm not a great touch typer. I mean, I make loads of mistakes, but I can do it to an extent, okay? And I learned there's a program on the computer that I use, on the internet I used. There's quite a few of them, but there's one that I found. And it's a free website. You just go onto it, and it gives you the words. You type them out. It shows you what you're it shows you a little picture of a keyboard and what you're pressing. And yeah, you do it. You just look at the screen and you try and copy the words. And yeah, it gives you it takes you through loads of lessons. So it starts off like just a couple of letters, and then it shows you what fingers you're supposed to use. It's really, really good. I'll look it up and I'll post it in the group so that everybody can see it. But yeah, that's the advice I give you there, Katie. So, okay, I'll move to the next person now. So I'll just go along the line the way that I see it just now, because everybody's going to get a turn anyway. So I'll go to Kim next.
Hello, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. I don't have any questions, but if you do have anything from Atlantis coming up, any lessons that I need to learn, past lives, beings coming through, we can start there. If they don't, then we can move on.
All right, great. Okay, that's good, because I like doing the Atlantis stuff. Okay.
Oh, good.
Okay, there's a lifetime that you've got there, right? And it was a very powerful lifetime for you. You were in a very powerful role in that life. And it's like some type of leader, like you were in it's almost like a government role, or like some sort of, like a government role, like a powerful position within government, okay? This is like more towards the end, okay? And it feels like okay, got it now. So just a second, let me go for a bit more. Okay, so you within government, there was a lot of bad things were going on in the government then, the same as there is now. But the role that you played in government is you were very much trying to move it out of the bad and more into the good. Okay, you could see the way it was going, and you were trying to save it. From your perspective, you were trying to save Atlantis. Okay, you could feel what was coming, and you were trying to pull it, and you were trying to move it in the other direction by. You are in touch. You are working together with a lot of the people that were negative within the government. Okay, and you are trying to change their perspectives and trying to change the way that things were moving within the government and try and move it in a different. It seems like you were able to do that to some extent. You were able to actually change a lot of things and make them move in other ways, but it was destined to happen what happened. So obviously Atlantis went down, but there is some stuff that you're still holding from that, and it's how can I put it? That you're still holding on to, like, you didn't do enough, like you failed, you'd failed it, like you didn't do enough, and you weren't able to save it. There's that feeling is still there. that more
I understand that, yeah.
that more could have been done. Okay, that's that feeling that's the carryover feeling. They're saying that now that you're aware of it, it's much easier for you to let that go. Okay, because you can take it and you can put it into almost like a package. You can see that's a lifetime thing, and you can take it and you can release that. Okay, they're saying that you can do this easily. It's not going to happen just now, me telling you, but you can do this if you do it, and if you sit in meditation and you start feeling into that lifetime and allowing that lifetime, the energy of it to come to you. You'll start feeling that. If you open yourself up and ask your guides to help with this, but ask that being that you were, ask the other version of you to allow that energy to come into you really strong and allow yourself to connect with that lifetime really strong. Okay. And when you do that, you're going to feel that guilt, that feeling. You're going to feel it a lot. Okay. You have to feel it a lot before you can release it. There's no other way. You got to take it into you and feel it. And then, okay, I understand what that was, and I forget. It's not about forgiving yourself. It's just about understanding that there was nothing that you could have done. It was going to happen anyway. And what you did do, you actually did change a lot of perspectives of people and give them a new understanding, okay, that they wouldn't have had before. You gave them a lot of people that you were connected with in that government. You gave them the opportunity for them not to carry it over because they got the resolve in that lifetime. They got the change within themselves in that lifetime. And so they didn't, if you hadn't done that, they would have carried that over into another lifetime, and they would have felt that, or other lifetimes, and would have felt that. But you allowed those people to see it from a different perspective, and you gave them the opportunity. Not everybody that you worked with, but a lot of them, you were able to change the way that they looked at things, and you were able to allow them to start moving in more positive directions. Okay, and allowing their leadership to move in more positive directions, and that is what's important in that lifetime. That's what to focus on and recognizing. It wasn't about the big picture. It was about you learning how to actually do that with other people. That's what the lifetime is about. Okay, that's what to recognize. Remember that, okay, and bring that into the meditation. When you connect, like I said, and you feel that, that's what to remember. Let yourself feel that guilt, and then remember what I just said. It wasn't about you stopping Atlantis going down and changing everything that was happening in government. It was about you learning how to help people transform. That's what that lifetime was about. Okay.
I feel that in my theme in my life so much comes up today. Do they have any messages to relate to how I keep having that pop up in my life now?
Okay. They're just saying it's the carryover. It's the carryover from that. It's the theme. The theme didn't get finished. It's coming over into this lifetime, and it's carrying on because it's not been resolved yet. Once you do that meditation, that'll transform it, because you'll release it then, and it'll become something else. It'll become an empowerment thing as opposed to
a frustration.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so I'll go to the next person on the line, and that's Katrina.
Okay, hello.
Hello, Katrina, how are you?
I'm fine, it's okay. It's going colder here in Paris.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Getting hotter here in New Zealand.
Oh, lucky one. I'm going on lockdown again here.
Oh,
so
really?
It's,
wow.
Yes, cold lockdown again.
Yeah.
I have some questions because I am stressed about some stuff. First one, I have a neighbor, problem with a neighbor, and I don't know what is the lesson. It seems it's a lesson. It's a lesson for me because the situation don't clear itself by itself.
Okay, tell me what the you don't have to give me details, but tell me what's going on.
Okay. I am trying to wake up myself to do meditation to
Okay.
keep myself calm down, and the guy never stopped to do noise.
Okay.
It's like never.
Right. Okay. I'll talk to you about this myself, because usually personal like development stuff like this, it's usually, I don't usually channel so much. I do it in there as information comes, but it's easier if I explain this myself. So you have to look at like what is the beliefs that you've got that are causing that. Now, one thing that I would say, okay, straight away is I can totally relate to that, because I've got like real noisy neighbors, like they're very noisy, yeah? And I can totally understand that. Now, one of the things I would advise you on first, right? And I've done this a lot. I still do it now. Not like I've only stopped doing this just recently, but I used to always meditate with earplugs in. I used to always do it, because I was going through a similar experience, right? I was when I first started meditating, my partner at the time, she was really noisy. We stayed in a little flat, and she used to be really noisy. She put like, just her putting like the TV, she put the TV on really loud and things like that. And it wasn't just that she was loud, because she did try to change things after I spoke to her about it, but it was such a small apartment. It was so easy to get distracted by her doing anything in the apartment. So what I started, and I was getting frustrated with it. And I was starting to want to, I was meditating outside the apartment. And then when I was meditating outside the apartment, I was getting noisy there. And so I can understand what this is. Okay. I came to a point where I realized, like, look, this isn't, I have to do something about this myself. It's not an external thing. It's something for me that I need to do. I need to change. So I started meditating with earplugs in, and it helped me massively. So even though
what I notice, it's when I am frustrated, it seems I get to the next day to the worst perspective.
Yeah, that's
if
right.
I get frustrated. Do you
right.
understand? I have to change the vibration.
That's very true. Okay, and that's right. You're spot on. It's because, right, this is what happens. Your higher self will help you. Your guides as well will help you. Okay, they will help you to find it. Usually, it's mostly from your higher self. It will help you to find what the positives are in any situation. And when you start getting frustrated, and when you start getting pissed off, right, and getting angry, that you shut that communication down. Okay, because you lower your vibration right down, and you can't get any of it doesn't come through. That's why it's when you, and I totally understand, I can totally relate to this, right? You have to come and center yourself and ask your higher self, like, there has to be something. The real key is to recognize there has to be something here. There has to be, like, this has to be happening. There has to be something positive, or there's always, it doesn't matter what the situation is, there is always there is a solution. There's always a solution. And that solution, usually 99 times out of 100, it's usually that solution. It seems like a little solution, but then when you start going into it, it opens up and it becomes something like really, really positive. And you start recognizing that, that's what it was all about in the first place. So what I would advise you to do, okay, is to, if it was me, I would try using earplugs and see if that helps you. Okay. If it doesn't help you, try looking for somewhere else that you can meditate. Okay, where you've got more peace. Maybe there's somewhere close by that you can go where you can meditate that would be better for you.
I am in lockdown.
Oh, you're in lockdown. I forgot.
I am in fucking lockdown with this neighbor.
I forgot, because we're not in lockdown here. Eh? I keep forgetting. So one other thing you can do as well is this. Why don't you get some music? Okay. You can go onto YouTube where you can get these relaxing music soundtracks that are like 5 hours long, and listen to that whilst you're meditating.
Okay.
That'll help you to focus on that, and it'll help to take
I have to change my vibration, and I will change the reality.
Yeah. You also might find that the type of meditation that you do helps as well, because I usually find if I'm doing a meditation where I'm focusing on my breathing, and I'm working on silencing my thoughts and just focusing on my breathing, if there's loud outside noises, they will affect that. Okay, I get distracted. But if I'm doing a visualization technique, if I'm doing a visualization technique, that does the outside influence, the outside noises don't affect me as much. And if I do hear outside influences, what I do is I take those noises and I incorporate them into the meditation in some way. So say I'm doing a meditation and it's a visualization technique. Say I'm doing whatever,
Yes.
I'm walking through a waterfall, and on the other side of that waterfall there's some reality that I want to get to. Now, as I'm walking up to that waterfall, say I hear a police car going past and it's going woo, 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 I would take that noise and I would imagine that noise as my vibration. I would imagine that's the sound of the energy as I'm getting closer to this waterfall. That noise, it's my vibration going woo, and it's going higher and higher, my vibration, and it's getting higher and higher. And then as I pass through, the noise starts fading away, and it starts fading away, and I go into this other reality. So when you do that, when you actually take the noises and you incorporate them into the meditation, it makes the meditation more powerful. It actually enhances it and it makes it stronger. So it affects you more. So if you can do that in some way as well, if you ever hear like loud noises, incorporate them in, even if it's like, loud bangings, like a door banging or something like that. You can imagine, you can tell yourself, every time I hear the bang, that's my vibration. Pop, it's popping and I'm going up. And every time you hear it, every time that happens, your vibration will actually step up. It's a big part of doing things like this. It's also incorporated into hypnosis. They do things like this in hypnosis as well. But that's the way you do it. That's the way to do it. That's the way you use noises and when you're doing visualization technique. So it might be that you need to change the type of meditation you're doing. Instead of doing just focusing on your breathing and silencing your mind, try doing visualization meditation, and maybe that's why it's happening for you, because maybe your higher self
I am going crazy.
I
am going crazy in frustration. It's going crazy. I cannot do what you are saying because I'm going like I'm exploding. I will try. Okay. I know what you I understand. I have a next one. Quickly, I don't know why my higher self drive me to one guy. And the situation is blocked, and I don't know.
Why your higher self? What? Sorry, I missed that. Sorry.
My higher self drive me to one guy. I have low attraction with this guy, and the situation is stuck. And I don't know what I have to do.
Okay, just a moment. Okay, before I even start this, recognize this, okay? It's the same as what I was talking about before. Never ever believe that your higher self, the guides, or any other spiritual beings, okay, never ever put them up on a pedestal, and never think that they have that their choices or what they think you should do as paramount. It's always take it more as advice, and always do what you think you should do. Okay.
So always. They can be wrong. All the guides, all the beings, they can be wrong.
It could be that your higher self is doing this to teach you that lesson.
Okay.
Because your higher self, trust me, will do these types of things. It could be your higher self is doing that so that you learn not to just do what your higher self tells you to do. So the guides, it's not that the guides, the how can I put it? I'm not saying that they're wrong. Sometimes they can make, it's not so much mistakes, but their judgment, okay, that isn't, just because they say you should do something doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be the best thing for you to do, because they've got their opinion on it. It's just an opinion. They always have an opinion on what you should do. But it's you that's going to experience that, and it's you that ultimately decides. So the key is to do what you feel is right and use them. They're more like advisors, and you're like the queen, and they're like your advisors. Okay, and yes, they give very, very good advice at times, but you are still the queen, and it is you that makes the ultimate decision. Yeah. So that's what I would say on that, Katrina. Don't give your power away to your higher self or any other beings. It's your power, it's your
Okay.
decisions. So you do what you feel is right. Okay. If there's anything else, you can ask another question as well.
What do you sense about this question from the higher self?
Me personally, I think that's what's going on. What I said, I think your higher self is doing this to show you that you shouldn't listen to it's not that you shouldn't listen to your higher self, but I think your higher self is doing this to teach you the lesson of don't just blindly do what your higher self tells you to do. Do what you feel you should do, and take the higher self's advice, but do what you think you should do. Your higher self will do weird things like this. It will do these roundabout sort of things, and your higher self will also in your life, it'll also maneuver you into the way where you should be going through fear. It'll actually use fear like this. I know he's afraid of this, and I know he's afraid of that, so I'll put that there, and 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 that'll make him go like this. You'll know what to go to those fear things, so that I'll actually create a path by making all these fear barriers that they won't go through, and so I actually create a path for them. So I've seen this loads in my life, and it happens in other people's lives as well. If the higher self knows that you won't do it, you're like, because me, I can be quite stubborn at times, and I'll do what I want to do, and so my higher self will do that. Sometimes it'll actually create, a pathway for me, because it knows that I'll not do certain things. It knows that I'm like, sometimes it knows that I won't do certain things because I'm afraid. Okay, so the way that it actually pushes me through that fear is it creates more fear behind it to actually drive me through it, because it knows that I'm not going to do it myself. So it actually has to create worse things behind it so it'll drive me through.
It's the only way for them to communicate with us. It's manipulate our feelings, and we have to find the own path through the law of attraction. What attracts us.
Yeah, that's
right.
That's right. Yeah, they do that. The higher self will put obstacles in your way to make you move in a certain way. So, and I think that's what's going on with you. That's what I feel like it is.
Is it the same for the reason why I'm not losing weight? Is the higher self is blocking me? Okay, one moment. No, it's not your higher self that's doing that. No, that's you. That's on you. That's you. It's something there's someone that's you, and your responsibility there. It's something that you can change. It's not the higher self has got the control over that. Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, that's it. They're not saying any more on that actual. There's thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. Thanks, Katrina. Okay, last question is Omran. Okay. How's it going, Omran?
Hello, it's going well. How about you, Neil?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Thank you. Well, I don't know really what I need to ask about.
Okay.
Since the theme is Atlantis, well, I've never have had an experience with anything about Atlantis.
Okay.
Just one thing was actually I was very attracted to these crystal skulls. Okay. That is talk so much about, I don't know if it's a myth about them or if it's true.
Okay.
Or if they really, have been created by magical beings thousands of years ago or
all
not.
Right.
I would like to get more information on them, and if I have ever had, been in contact with these things, or if they are true or not.
Okay. Right. I'll do a bit of talk on what I understand about them already, and I can tell there's more information they're going to give me on this as well. I'll go in. I'll just tune in a wee bit, and I'll see. I'll let them give me some more information. So. Okay, so right, the crystal skulls. Originally, they started on Atlantis. This technology started on Atlantis because that's what they are. They're actually a technology. Now, when they were made in Atlantis, they were done very, very precisely. The whole story of it, I can give you the whole story of it, and this isn't something I channeled. Most of this I got from Bashar, okay? Some of this I understood before I'd heard it from Bashar, but he gave me a fuller understanding of it when he talked about it. So there's 12 crystal skulls, right? There's this legend of the 12 crystal skulls. Now, there are 12, okay? They were all created by different Atlanteans. There's 12 of them, but there's a 13th crystal skull that isn't really part of the circle. It stands in the middle, and it is the main crystal skull. It is the master one, and it is the one that connects all the other ones together, okay? Now, the master one was the first one to be created. When they created these, the first one was created by he was recognized as being like a very high vibe, like a highly evolved priest, and he created it himself, and it was the exact image of his own skull. Now, when they created it, it wasn't really it wasn't like laser technology or anything like that they used to create it. He actually created it. How can I put this? He created it by, how can I explain this? He molded it himself through energy work he did with it. That's how he did it. It's like he took the piece of crystal and he molded that crystal through influencing it energetically, and it would cause the crystal to change into a certain shape. Okay.
Could it have been done through some kind of instruments, probably alien instruments?
Not him. He didn't do it that way, but there was instruments that were used. Some of the other ones were done that way. Okay. Now the master one is the one that was created first, and it was created as a type of technology where this is almost like the embodiment of humanity. Okay, because that's what crystal skulls are. They are a template, okay, for humanity, for your consciousness, because they couldn't make a crystal. Like if you took you can have a shape of a face, okay, it wouldn't be so much a template, because a face, it would have certain features to it, and it wouldn't, some people wouldn't connect with it as a part of them. But a skull is like a very neutral template that we can all apply to ourselves. And it also, the skull implies going within. Okay, it's not an outward thing, it is something that is within us. Okay, within our mind, almost with going within yourself and your mind. It's the same concept. The skull is within us. Your consciousness is within you. You know, so that's what it represents. It's the template of your physical structure, but also the template of your consciousness. Okay, so that's what they're actually used for, as they are used as devices or technologies that you can connect with your own consciousness and the consciousness of humanity as a whole. And that is very much what the master one was. That one was representative, or that one is very much connected to the consciousness of humanity as one being. So if you were to see that master crystal skull and talk to that master crystal skull, you would be talking to humanity. That's who you'd be talking to. Now, I'm not going to go into too much, like a lot of that stuff, some of it's what Bashar showed and some of it's just stuff I got just now. Now, there's a lot more to it. That main one is what creates the Bermuda Triangle, because it went down with Atlantis and it's still there at the bottom of the sea. Okay, it's obviously buried, but that is still there. And it creates this fluctuation, and that's what the Bermuda Triangle actually is. It's right in the center. So anyway, the crystal skulls, if you've got your own crystal skull, the way that you can use that crystal skull is you can use it to connect with your own consciousness, where it's almost like your consciousness stepping outside of you, and you can have a conversation with your own consciousness, like your own consciousness as in like, I understand that we're all one and we're all one consciousness, but when that trickles down to, me, Neil, my consciousness is Neil, and my body and my higher self and all, and my soul, all of that that makes up Neil. That consciousness can channel through the skull, and it can talk to you. So that's how this technology works. Okay. So if you're feeling attracted to crystal skulls, that's probably why you're feeling attracted to it, because you want to have that. You're on a subconscious level, you're feeling attracted to it, so you can have that type of communication with yourself. You can learn a lot from them. They can help you tons, right? The real key is this, Omran, if you're going to get one, right, it's very, very, very important. This, you can't just put the crystal skull down and just like start communicating with it. You absolutely have to unlock that first. It's like they lie dormant, and it's like a computer. You have to switch the computer on to make the computer work. And it's the same with them. They lie dormant, and you have to open them up. When I say they lie dormant, there's still energy coming out of them. Okay. And you can get some communication, but if you really want to delve into it, if you really want to switch on to make it work properly, you have to activate it. The way that you activate it is different for every person. For me, the way I do it is I do energy. I just send energy to it. You see me sending energy to myself when I'm channeling and stuff. I do the same. I'll just just start sending energy to it, and I'll open it up with my energy flowing out my hands. When I'm doing automatic writing, sometimes I'll take it. I'll feel like taking it and sitting it next to me, and I can feel it's helping me as well. It's giving me information. It seems to open up when I get into like a channeled state if it's close to me, and it must just be my vibration, must just affect it. It must just start opening. You can use toning. Some people would use toning to open it up. There's telling me water as well. Some people might feel like they have to run water over it first, okay, to open it up. Some people might feel like they want to sing to it as well to open it up. Okay, just a moment. Some people may use certain instruments to open it up. I feel it like there's like a flute or something that some people would use. Or like a trumpet, like a cornet holding a tone with that, just that one tone that would open it. Chanting could open it up for some people. Light can open it up for others. It's finding what works for you is the key, okay? Because the way that's most effective to open it up is the way that you can most effectively give it the frequency it needs to open. Okay, so the way that I can do that is I work with energy. Some people, I don't tone. Some people are big into toning. It's not really my thing, but people that are big into toning, that's most likely what they're going to feel like using. So use what you feel like, whatever you feel like using. Okay, experiment with it as well. Don't feel like there's a certain way it has to be done. If there's anything outside of what I've said that you feel like doing, do that. Okay, just a moment. Okay, so after you've done that, now this is the way that I intuitively felt to do it, and I heard Bashar say this as well, like years after I'd done it this way. I have the crystal skull and I imagine it there in front of me, okay, as I'm in meditation with my eyes closed, and I imagine it goes into my head and it overlaps, like, it spins round and it goes into my head and it overlaps with my skull. So I recognize that it is my skull. That skull is actually my skull. And sometimes I even take it further, and I imagine, because I've got a big rose quartz one here that I use, And sometimes I actually imagine all the rest of my bones turn into rose quartz as well. And that's me. I'm a rose. My bones are actually rose quartz. And I tell myself that I'm actually rose quartz, and that's who I am. And when I do that, it helps me connect with it a lot. And I heard Bashar, he said that somebody asked him a question, said that they had done it. And he said, yeah, that's how to use it, because it's like a template. He said, you're putting it in like a template. So that's the way I use it. Okay. You may also find that having it sitting and staring into its eyes and getting yourself into a trance state and looking into its eyes, even if you start swaying around and looking into its eyes, that way might help you connect with it as well. Okay. They're not saying too much more about it now. The only last little thing I felt there was, if there's like a thunderstorm, it's good to have it outside during a thunderstorm, right? And it's because of the natural electromagnetic charge that there is in the air does something to it. I've never heard this before, I just got it just now. Influences it somehow. So try that as well if you ever get one. I'll try that myself. I've never heard it. So. Yeah, they're saying if there's any more if there's any questions you've got about that, you know, further questions or anything else you can ask.
No, thank you. I think that was it.
Okay.
Oh, one last question. You know, the one in the British Museum they're holding, I don't know if that one is like the true one, or it is like maybe the copied one of the crystal skulls. It's a personal question, maybe. Do you think it's the real one or another fake one they have just put there for people?
Me personally, I think there's something. I'm not sure what it is, but there's something special about that one. I don't know if it's one of the 12, okay, but there's definitely something special about that. One thing that Bashar said is, if you take this master crystal skull, okay, what was it he say? He said that the Mitchell Hedges skull, okay, is a replica of the master one. It's not made the same way, but it's an exact replica, okay? And it was made as an exact replica because that one, the Mitchell Hedges one, if you take another crystal skull and you put it close to the Mitchell Hedges one, it programs it, okay, to work in a similar way to the way the Mitchell Hedges one works and the way that the master one works. Okay, they're telling me now, the master one's like, the purpose of the master one is to connect them all together. Okay, they all connect through that. But the Mitchell Hedges one is the replica of the master one so that it can be used for programming the others. Okay, now the way it programs them is you put it within, was it 3 feet? I think it was 3 feet or round about that meter or something like that. I think it was 3 feet. See, if you put another crystal skull, it doesn't matter what the crystal skull is. If you put it within 3 feet, the Mitchell Hedges one, it'll actually realign. I think he said that it realigns the structure of the crystal structure, and it allows it to operate in a way similar to the way the Mitchell Hedges skull works. And I think that may very well be what happened with the one in the British Museum. I think that it's been in contact with it, but I don't know if I'm not 100% sure with that one as well. There's something with it that's not quite right. I think if I was to say one or the other, I would say it is. I would say it is because there's so much attention on that, and there's so much energy around it. There's something going on there. There definitely is something going on with it. But it points to it not being that because of the way it's been manufactured. Like, it looks like it's been manufactured. But that doesn't, just because it looks like it's been manufactured doesn't mean to say it's not ancient. They only say it, like, obviously the academics say that it can't be because there was no tools then, but obviously they don't understand true history. But yeah, I think it is one of them. If I was to say one or the other, I would say it is one of them. There's another one that's in Hawaii, and interestingly, Julie knows about this one because she's been connecting with us, but she doesn't know anything about. She's never heard anything about this before, and I'd never heard anything about it. I heard about it from like Bashar spoke about this. Somebody asked him, it was the owner of the owner of the Mitchell Hedges skull, asked him if there was another ancient one from Atlantis that was in Hawaii. And it was a red one because there's rumors of that. And it's kept in one of the islands there. And within a volcano, there must be a cave within one of the volcanoes, and they keep it there. And Bashar confirmed it. And Julie told me just recently, I'm starting to feel like I want to get a crystal skull. And she said that she's never felt like that, like getting one before, and she doesn't know anything about them. So she messaged me and she asked about it because she knew that I've got quite a lot here and I'm into them. And she says, I think I want to start channeling one sometime. Sometime soon, because that's what I feel like. And I says, oh yeah, you could do that. Like, and I says, you can get them on eBay and stuff. And she says, well, there's one that I've been connecting with recently, and it's a red one, and it feels like it's in Hawaii. And I was like, oh yeah, I've heard Bashar talk about that. So when you get two channelers independently finding stuff, saying the same stuff, it's true. So, yeah, there's something going on. It's because of this Atlantis theme that we're going through in January. It's why people are feeling the connection to them.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I think also that I have been seeing a few videos about people saying that they're keepers of the one or two of the originals. So people around, right, in America and Europe, I think it is, some people are keeping these crystals, and they say that this is, the original ones.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's, what they say is true or not.
Yeah. The one that I do know for certain is one of the ancient ones is that one that's Max the Crystal Skull. Absolutely, that is. I think it's called Shal.
Yeah, that's also very popular. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely one of them, because you can see with the way it's been made, it's actually got 3 skulls and they've been melded together. 3 crystals and that are all separate from each other, and they've actually been melded together, and they can't understand how this has happened. And that's part of the way that the Atlanteans could do it. They could somehow mold crystal somehow. It's the same as what they did with stonework. They were able to mold stone as well, and that's how they built a lot of the structures. They would actually soften the stone and squeeze it together, to create these walls. That's how they got the seamless walls, the seams that's between the bricks. It was melted. It was molded. It's like taking putty or taking Play-Doh and the bricks and squeezing it all together. But the Atlanteans could do that. I think they could do that with the crystals with their own. They didn't use a technology to do it. They did it with their own. And I think they did this as well with the stones as well. I think they didn't so much use like a machine to create the vibration. They would do it with their bodies or instruments. There's a lot of evidence for them doing it with instruments. So yeah. I think that one I can feel it off that one. I can feel the energy of it. That's definitely one of them. Absolutely. It's very strong, that one. Very, very strong.
Yeah. I mostly feel the one in the British Museum. When I look at it, it just feels real to me. I feel like I'm looking at a man.
Yeah.
It feels so masculine. I feel like I'm really feeling the personality of a man through it.
Oh,
not
yeah.
through the pictures.
Yeah, it's
but
probably,
I don't know what. Yeah.
It's probably the person who made it.
Like when you,
that's how you're probably feeling. But that's good that you're doing it, because I can do that as well. And I always tell people they can do that with crystals. You can feel crystals through pictures or through videos. You can absolutely feel it. And a lot of people think you can't do that, and so they block themselves from doing it. But that's good that you're doing that, because you can choose. A lot of people think you have to go into shops to choose crystals, but you don't. You can choose them online. You can really feel. I've had like really strong feelings from crystals, like them coming into me. Just looking at the picture of them on eBay, and them coming into me and showing me what they can do. So yeah, that's really good that you're doing that. It's good that you've not blocked yourself there.
Yeah, exactly. And I think as long as you feel something, it awakens something within you. That's what matters. You know, even though we don't know for sure the story behind it, but when you look at the pictures, even though you can't go there and physically feel it, and so through the pictures you can get into some kind of states.
Absolutely.
Just by looking at it.
Absolutely. You can absolutely do that. You can, My guide told me when I first got my skull, because I was like, I'm going to buy, I went buy the skull, and I was like, right, how am I going to get this to the Mitchell Hedges skull and be able to use it for activation? And I thought maybe I'll like write to him, the owner of the skull, and I'll say to him like, look, you know, I'm going to send you the skull. Would you be able to put it next to your skull and then send it back to me? And he should actually set up a service doing that. You could make a lot of money from it. But anyway, I was thinking about doing that, and my guide told me you can actually just do it with your computer. If you put, it'll not be quite as effective, but it'll still have an effect on it. If you take the picture of the Mitchell Hedges skull and you just sit it next to your computer, it'll get a connection in the same way that you can get a connection from it. So, yeah, it's you can absolutely do that. You can absolutely use images. Me and Julie do it when the very fact that I can channel is proof of that. I can channel across the internet. So it's, we do crystal readings and all sorts of stuff across the internet. So it's, it's absolutely doable. Actually, I think it benefits when you actually channel and you do things across the internet, because you start recognizing that that space, it's an illusion. And that it doesn't matter about where somebody is. You can still absolutely connect with them, or connect with it, or whatever, no matter where you are. And so, yeah, I think it's beneficial. Even like having a community, an online community, it helps with that a lot. It helps you to realize that there's a thinning, like there's no really we're all in the same place anyway. And that's what the internet does. Like, a lot of people say, like, you know, the internet is bad for humanity and stuff, but it's really, really good. And it's a huge stepping stone, the internet, to us becoming more like telepathic. It absolutely is.
Yeah, exactly. It has all its benefits, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think it would be a good idea if Julie tried to channel these crystal skulls. I think there's more life to them than, you know, actual crystals.
Yeah, because the reason that there's more life to them than crystals, it's because we give them more life. It's not actually got that, but it very, very much appears that way. And it's because you cannot help but look at a skull and think it's a person, because it's the one image that we would create a person as, you know. So that's why it has an effect, because it looks like a person. It has an effect on our consciousness that we can never get around. It's always going to look like a person, you know. So it helps a lot that way.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, if you're going to buy one, Omran, right, what I'd advise you to do is go onto eBay, and there's a company called Skullis, Skullis. Their website's skullis.com, and you want to see some of these skulls. They make the most beautiful skulls in the world. They are absolutely stunning. And maybe you've heard it already.
I have seen some around on Google, and some of them are really bizarre looking.
Yeah, because some of them are geodes, and they carve them so that the geode's still in it and stuff. I'll show you. Just give me 1 sec. I'll show you this one. This is like an example of what I mean by it being like a geode, and you know, them still carving around it, because some of them they actually do in machines, so the machine just carves it all out, and this one's been done by a machine. But you can see it's been like
beautiful.
Geode. See, it's got like, you can see the crystal. You can actually see the little crystal formations inside it.
Yeah,
and
right.
So it's got a lot of. This is fluoride, but it's got a lot of quartz in it as well. So you can see it's not like perfectly formed. But yeah, I love that. I love this one. I've got about 6 skulls or something like that.
Beautiful.
This one, I got this on eBay, and some of them they go cheap because they are, they've got cracks in them. Or, you know, this one, I don't know why this went cheap. It's got a bit of a crack on it. I don't know if you can see it, but it's got a bit of crack up its jaw here. And it sort of runs underneath. So some people, if they put them on the website, a lot of people will not buy them because they don't want to spend a lot of money on it in case the little crack would, you know, break at a later stage. So they put them on eBay for auction. And you can get some amazing deals there if you just keep watching it. I used to watch it every day because I went through a phase of buying them. I used to watch it every day. I used to look for the new ones that were the ones that were about to be sold. And you get some amazing deals. You actually get some, I don't know why they put them on, but sometimes you get some and they've not even got cracks in them. I don't know why they're putting them on. And I got some real good ones. The best, one of the ones I've got is what type of, it's a strange, what's a strange name? I always forget the name of it. It's a blue crystal and it's a small one. You get some that are just small. And it's the one crystal that I've tried putting loads of crystals under my pillows to affect my dreams. And this little skull is the most effective by far on my dreams than anything else. I don't put it under my pillow very often, maybe once every couple of weeks, but man, I get the most bizarre stuff happening in my dreams when I put that under my pillow.
Is it the lapis lazuli?
No, it's no lapis lazuli. It's, I can't remember what the name of it is. I always forget the name of it. It's I can't remember. I always forget the name. I'm terrible with names. But it's a really beautiful little skull, and it was perfect as well. When I got that one, there was I couldn't see any cracks or anything on it, and I was just like, I couldn't understand why it went so cheap. It should have been hundreds of dollars, and I got it for like $50 or something. And you look on the
they're really expensive usually.
Yeah, this one, if you look on the website, they're usually about $200, and I got it for like $50 on eBay. So that's the place to get them. Get them on eBay.
Yeah, nice. I will check that out definitely.
Yeah.
I have no crystal skulls, like none of them.
Yeah.
But
they're so addictive. You buy one, you end up buy more, and you're gotta get that one.
Exactly. You will be addicted to them.
Yeah. So I'll say that to Julie, because I was feeling like I wanted to start channeling crystal skulls. Like I was thinking like, oh, maybe I'll channel a different skull, because I got quite a lot of them. Maybe I'll channel a different one every month. But I'm still not sure if I want to do that yet. I'll see how this one goes when I channel it.
Yeah. Do you know what I felt about them once? Now I remembered, back then, a few years ago, when I was thinking a lot about these crystal skulls, I thought they worked, or maybe some of them worked as kind of telephones that, another being could channel its energy through it and then send it to someone else. It could be used to channel maybe, or receive energy from the astral world, or from the spirit world.
Yeah, that's I can feel that. You're right. You're spot on there. That's right. A being could, a guide, for example, could use that as a template as well to connect into it, and then you could connect to the skull. And they're saying that so they work as bridges as well, they're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and maybe it's not for all skulls or all crystal types, maybe just some.
Certain ones. Okay, they're saying that that's to do with it's not that you would have one skull that would allow a lot of different beings to come through it. It's, you would have, say you wanted your guide to start connecting through that to you, you would have to get the skull that your guide, that is vibrationally compatible with your guide. Because it has to be in balance with its vibration. There's only certain skulls that your main guide would be able to come through. So you need to choose the right skull for the guide. That's how it would work, or for the being that you're wanting to do it with.
Yeah.
They're saying that the master ones can do that, what you're talking about. They can allow any beings to come through them. Okay, because they're more like advanced versions of what we would buy. Okay.
Yeah.
The quartz ones as well, they allow for more connections, because more quartz is a very neutral, you could say. It's a very neutral type of substance, and so it allows for more connections. Okay, so if you're looking for that, look to get a clear quartz one. Okay, yeah, that's all they're really saying.
Yeah.
So.
Cool.
Yeah. All right then, I think we're going to wrap up there. Okay then, Thanks everybody for coming. I'll stop the recording.